Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your line of questioning as well. And let me say that I share a lot of the concerns that have been raised by the chairman, especially with regard to an 8-year period and being able to address these issues in a timely fashion. And certainly everyone in Congress wants to see all of our agencies operate as efficiently as they possibly can. But my question to you, Dr. Kijakazi, is that if I appreciate your agency working to fix this problem, what's the top thing SSA needs from Congress in order to provide better customer service to beneficiaries trying to resolve these overpayments?
We do need sustained, sufficient funding so that we can hire the number of staff we need to cover all of the workloads, including the overpayment workload.
And when you say, what would that staff load be? And instead, you're operating at flat level funding. Is that not correct?
That's what's in the legislation that addressed the debt ceiling. It provided for level funding for FY 2024, which is actually a budget cut for Social Security because we have fixed costs of about $700 million for FY 2024 because we face increase, for example, increases in the rent on the 1,230 field offices across the country and the approximately 300 hearings offices. So we would be entering into 2024 with a substantial cut. We were able, with the increase in FY 2023 funds, we had the hiring surge. We brought on, I believe, more new hires than we have ever done in SSA's history within that limited period of time. And we are up to about 60,000. But given attrition over the course of the year, if we have level funding, we will have a hiring freeze, which means we cannot replace the people who leave. And so we will begin that decline in our staffing once again and not have sufficient staff to handle
The point of
workloads.
my question is that you don't have sufficient staff. And as we look going forward, and as much as we'd all like to see efficiencies out of the program, et cetera, is there a more efficient program in the United States government than Social Security? What is your operating costs? I believe in insurance language, and I happen to be from an insurance area of the world, you have like a 99% loss ratio.
Right.
What does that mean, Commissioner?
It means an administrative cost of less than 1%.
So you operate the largest insurance company, the largest insurance operation in the country for 70 million people at under 1%, and we're cutting you? Of course, we'd all like to see everything be more efficient and as effective as it can be, but this is something that should be highlighted. I'm surprised that my colleagues on the other side of the aisle aren't glorifying the fact that why don't we look at all of our agencies and see if they can operate at the same kind of efficiency that you have? And yes, there's always room for improvement, but we're talking about human beings here too that are going to have questions. And as the forum that the chairman raised earlier points out, things can get pretty complicated. And so we need the staffing level and we need the humanization in the process to make sure that the public is getting these answers. So we want to make sure that you have the dollars that are needed to invest in the personnel who can serve the public and continue to provide the nation with the #1 anti-poverty program for the elderly and the #1 economic development program we have in every one of our districts. And instead, it's flap funded and cut, and Congress hasn't increased any benefit in more than 52 years. How is that responsible?